Mona, you have the floor for 8 minutes. I know that you are connected, so we can start with you.
Hi, thank you. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, it's perfect, Mona. You can go ahead.
Go, okay. Thank you for having me. I'm glad part of this panel are other human rights defenders from Egypt, because this gives me the liberty to speak not as a human rights defender, but more as a family of human rights defenders in prison. Both my siblings, Alaء and Sana, Alaء Abdel Fatah and Sana Saif, are in prison at the moment. But I'm choosing this opportunity to focus on Alaء and particularly his conditions. Alaء has been Alaء has been in prison since Sisi came to power, so since 2013, except for a few months in between where he was out on strict probation. But since September 2019, he has been rearrested again, and he has been put in Tora maximum security prison in extreme inhumane conditions that have been going on for more than 2 years, without any proper investigation or proper moves from any official entities that we have submitted complaints to. So to brief you, Alaء has been banned from having any books or magazines or any reading material since September 2019 till now. He has been banned from any access to news, whether local news or international news. So that means he's banned from radio, from newspapers, even state-affiliated newspapers. He has been completely banned from having any time out of the cell, so exercise or recreational time, which is a right by the law and by prison regulation. He has been completely banned from it, which means that Alaء, for the past 25 months, have been in his cell, locked 24/7. He's not allowed out of the cell except when he has a family visit, or if he has a court appearance. And since the restrictions of COVID of last year, the family visits have been reduced to 1 visit per month, 1 family member only for 20 minutes. Sometimes we get some extra visit because of holidays, but that really means that Alaء and the cellmate with him are locked 24 hours all the time in this prison, deprived from sun, from fresh air, from books, from any means of doing anything slightly mentally stimulating or anything that physically of physical movement, and they are just requested to sleep, eat, and wait for when they are allowed outside for the court. We've been advocating for free Alaء for the past, 10 years, and even maybe more. But since September 13th, we have shifted our focus to save Alaء. We are no longer focusing on his freedom. We think there's a more urgent need to focus on saving his life. On September 13th in court, Alaء expressed suicidal thoughts to the lawyers, and he expressed them again in family visits. This is after 2 years of enduring these horrible conditions in maximum security prison too, and also amounting violations of he was beaten up and deprived of all of his clothes, and he was threatened on his arrival to this prison 2 years ago on September 29th, 2019, by the officer, the state security officer, who is still running the place. His name he goes by the name Ahmed Fikri in Tora prisons, but his real name might be Walid al-Dahshan. We have submitted multiple complaints against him to the General Prosecutor, to State Security Prosecution. Alaء complained against him to the judges reviewing his renewal. We've submitted complaints to both Ministry of Interior and their affiliated human rights departments, and to the Human Rights Council. Until now, not one single complaint against this officer, and not just from our family, from other families, have been investigated at all, and he is completely above the law. And basically, Alaء is just an example. This is how the whole prison is being run. Both maximum security prisons in Tora, so Tora Maximum Security Prison 1 and 2, are independently and unofficially run by state security. They are not properly accessed by prosecution, or even prosecutors are not interested to access them. And any complaints regarding violations taking place there are dismissed. And they are systematically on a daily basis breaking even the Egyptian law and the prison regulations. There have been at least an incident, if not more, of attempted suicide in this prison. Mohammed Oxygen, who is a young journalist and who is also facing state security trial, the same case as my brother, has tried to commit suicide a couple of months ago, and he was saved by his cellmate. And there have been numerous deaths due to medical negligence or, prison authorities ignoring the SOS calls of the other prisoners on several different occasions. So this is in summary how, like, the conditions of my brother and the conditions that have driven him. He has managed to endure this for 2 years, and that have driven him eventually or ultimately to think of death as the only way out. So we are now urgently asking anyone to help pressure not release Alaء, because we understand that releasing Alaء seems to be a far more difficult and critical thing for the current regime, but to move him from this prison. This is our utmost, the most important request we have, to move him from this prison to a prison where he has his basic rights as a prisoner and where we can feel less worried about his safety and his well-being. But also urgent action needs to be taken about this prison, not just for Alaء, but about the way this prison is completely run and how it is run in a way that is meant to drive prisoners insane and to make them lose their minds. I forgot to mention that one of the things that is completely banned on prisoners in this prison is a watch. They are not allowed to know what time it is of the day. And this has been since day one Alaء in prison. We've tried many times to get him watched, to get him a book. Alaء over the past few weeks has been negotiating with them to grant him one single book of their choosing from the prison's library, and they did not agree. They ignored his request. So this is how intent they are on mentally and emotionally pushing the prisoners really towards the edge. The other thing I would like to say, so this is why we think it's very important for Alaء to be transferred from this prison from a human rights point of view, and this is also why we think action should be taken against the officers running this prison in particular. But also on another layer, we have also legal merit for asking for the removal of Alaء from this prison. After 2 years of Alaء not knowing what is it exactly he's being charged with, last month he has been told that he is charged with what we know from the beginning. He's being charged with spreading rumors and false information that affect national security and cause terror among people, but he was never presented with what sort of rumor, what is it specifically that he's supposed to have spread. And then last month he was faced with the actual charge against him, which is resharing a post written by someone detailing the death of a prisoner, his name is Hussein, in maximum security prison 2. So in reality, and the post itself has the same name of the officer who is still running things and who has been personally targeting Alaء with violations over the past 2 years, the officer known as Ahmed Fikri in Maximum Torres prison. So in reality, this information was withheld from us by the prosecution and by everyone involved in the decision of putting Alaء in that prison. And for 2 years, they have handed him over to the officer he is supposed to be charged of spreading false news about. And they left him unaccounted for, and they ignored all of our reports and official complaints. So this is sort of a collaboration between different entities to actually hand Alaء over to a prison where they know he'll be dealt with vengeance and outside the boundaries of the law. So this is also our legal merit for asking for Ala's removal from this prison, and for taking some urgent action, especially that the judge Hamad Al-Sawi, the general prosecutor, doesn't seem to move forward at all with any complaints regarding the violations committed in that particular prison. Thank you.
Thank you, Mona. And I think it's really important for us to have your testimony, because it is about your brother, Halle, but it is more generally about the situation in the prison in the country and about human rights in the country. So thank you. And I must say that you are really courageous to do this as a testimony here at the Human Rights Subcommittee, and we are there for that. So thank you very much, Mona.